Ciao a tutti! It's a massive derby as Inter and AC Milan face each other at San Siro on Saturday. And given how things are looking at the top of the table, this is for more than just bragging rights. And guess what? Here at Paramount Plus and CBS Sports, we are making history. Our very own studio team will be at the San Siro to cover the Derby della Madonnina. And today's a very special live episode with Matteo Bonetti and Marco Messina, who are joining me from Milan. Amazing. Qué Golazo, Calcio e Cappuccino crossover live. Inizia proprio ora. Welcome to Qué Golazo. Matteo Bonetti, how are you, my friend?
Wait a second, Marco, you're in Milan. I'm in Newark, New Jersey. Maybe I didn't get the memo.
You look like you are.
Just kidding. Hey, you don't get this in Newark, do you? They don't serve this cup size at any Holiday Inn or anything. We were in Milano.
What,
and
a paper cup?
This is the coffee cup you get for an espresso.
Look what they gave me, Matteo. Matteo, look what I got.
We just went to lunch. Poppy Miller, who's English, she asked for a cappuccino after it was like 1 p.m. here. The owner, it was like he had heard blasphemy. He wanted to shut down the entire restaurant. It's like, right, shut it all down. I can't hear anything anymore. I've never seen anyone get that insulted.
I'm just really glad she didn't ask for. Hey, Matteo, I'm just really glad she didn't ask for a cup of tea with 2 sugars, because that could have been a real bad problem.
More milk. It's disgusting.
Marco Messina, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm enjoying this. It's a lot of fun. It feels like we're living in a dream. We got the view of the San Siro to the left of me. I couldn't be doing any better.
I believe you. And I'm glad, really, Matteo, that you mentioned about that, espresso that you have right now, because otherwise it does look like you're at Hamptons Inn in New Jersey. But we're going to take your word for it, because this is a historic event at the San Siro on Saturday from CBS Sports. Look, yes, Matteo, move that camera. There you go.
You don't
Milano.
get this in Hamptons.
Yes, thank you. That's what I wanted.
You do not get this in Hamptons. I'm telling you. No New Jersey. Come on. I think they got this in Connecticut. Forget it.
Absolutely right. But welcome, everybody, to our live episode of Qué Golazo, Calcio e Cappuccino. As I mentioned, it's a historic event. It's for the first time a U.S. broadcasting team live at the San Siro, as we, of course, will broadcast on Paramount Plus, CBS Sports Network. This is the entire team. Matteo, why don't you run us down what we're going to expect on Saturday?
Right, so 11 a.m., Paramount Plus, CBS Sports Network. We have a 1-hour pregame show. We have Christian Vieri there as well. It's amazing to get someone of his caliber on with us pitch side. Marco and Mike are also going to be at the desk, which is pitch side, right there with the players, the referees warming up right behind them. Poppy Miller's hosting. I'll be on half the time. Then I go up with my boy Dre. We do the commentary from up with all the other Italian commentators. It's crazy. You look to the side, there's an Italian guy smoking a cigar. I look to the other side. I'm like, hold on a second. I grew up watching these commentators here. So it's the coolest thing ever. Surrounded by Italian commentators. We're going to be representing it for the American audience.
It's going to be unbelievable. I think I'm planning to go all the way around San Siro throughout the day, throughout the live. So I'll be moving around. I'll be finding fans. Then I'll jump in once Matteo goes to the commentary booth with Bobo and with the rest of the team. So it's going to be unbelievable.
Absolutely fantastic. And just everybody, as you know, this is our live YouTube episode. If you have a comment or a question from Matteo or Marco, or just we even want to say hello, buongiorno, ciao, tutti, you can just say it right here in the comments, and our producer Lisa Roman will post it up. We're going to get a little bit into the game itself in a second. Of course, the Derby della Madonnina and how much it means, not just as the derby itself, but, this season in particular, as Inter's leading the table and AC Milan really need to get some points going. But before I wanted to do that, and by the way, I'm wearing Inter Milan here because it's Ronaldo Phenomenal, a historic,
a great shirt,
a person that really, but AC Milan fans, don't be disappointed. This is me at 15 years old wearing my George Weah AC Milan shirt.
The hair.
So I do have some love, Matteo. I do have some love from Milan.
Luis, that is a heavy, heavy responsibility when you're wearing that kit in particular. Think of all the success Milan had in the 90s, the early 90s. And, to put that on you with the technique I know you have, it's a bit of an insult to the Milan community.
The kid at the back couldn't even look at me. Look, he's just
The kid in the
Oh,
back
my God.
saw for 1 second what was happening when you touched the ball, and he went down. He couldn't take it anymore. He's like, you know what? I give up. I'm going down. I'm burying my head
Hey,
in the
listen,
sand.
this is absolutely not true. I'm an absolute wizard on the pitch. Trust me on that one. Hey, all right, let's keep going here because you obviously are going to be part of this fantastic broadcasting experience on Saturday, but you've been there midweek. You've been seeing the sides. I did like this particular video, Marco Messina. I feel like you got justed here.
The amount of times that this has been sent to me.
Everybody was in on it, Matteo. What happened?
Well, Marco's like a golden retriever. He's happy about everything. Everything is a great idea. So we made a joke saying, I bet if we trick Marco into getting in front of us, he'll do any TikTok dance ever. So we were all in on it. We told Marco, his face lit up because it was something fun. We all were dancing. And I was even surprised when Grella said, yeah, that's a great idea. Marco could not have been more excited. So to have him there surrounded by people at the Duomo when he does that ridiculous thing, I've had it on a loop all morning. And that's why we love Marco, though. He's so enthusiastic about everything.
Marco, you're okay, right?
That was played at dinner about 75 times last night. All I did was see that they were showing random people that video. You know what bothers me though? I'm more disappointed in myself because when they first told us about the idea, I was like, nah, I don't want to do a TikTok dance. Then I saw it and everyone else around me, everyone's like, oh wow, that's cool, that's fun. And then I heard Grella's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I was wrong. This sounds fun. I got excited. And it should have been the first thought in my mind should have been, why is Grella excited to do a TikTok dance?
And that should have been your warning.
But then they say, oh, Marco, why don't you step in the front? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's fun. And then, it's been centered by my family.
Hey, but listen, to Matteo's point, it's so good to have your energy there, and you took it on the chin as well. So,
I respect it. I would have done the same thing to them if I could, so I can't get mad.
Exactly. But you know what? Old age and treachery will always outdo youth and exuberance, my friend. So,
look at that. You came
Revenge
for football. You're getting philosophy. You're getting an ancient Peruvian proverb right now. You got to pay for that kind of content. Normally.
Exactly, my friend. Hey, Ilias, who always watches us live, thank you for being here on the show. We saw your message there. All right, let's get into it. Marco Messina, Matteo Bonetti, Derby della Madonnina. Okay, let's pretend, Matteo, that an alien just came on Earth and has no idea about derbies. So he's being told about, obviously, Boca River, the North London Derby, El Clásico. Explain to us how big this derby really is.
If someone tells him about the North London Derby before the Derby della Madonnina, this alien is going to the wrong source, Luis. It's all about the Derby della Madonnina. This is an absolute massive game up there with the Rome Derby, the Derby d'Italia between Juventus and Inter. But the thing about Milan and Inter is, and Marco, I know you'll agree, sometimes the derbies, they get a little bit too heated in Italy, like stuff we've seen in the past. I feel like compared to other derbies that take place in the same city worldwide, this is actually a peaceful derby. Yes, there's like friendly ribbing and stuff, but it's not a case of, am I going to get into a fight outside the stadium? Like there's always, I think, a certain level of respect, like not on the surface level, but it's one that you can attend with your family and you don't have to worry about things getting a little bit too intense like what you see in other derbies around the world. But it really is a city split 50-50. And the great thing is, for most of their history, both these clubs have been fighting for the exact same thing. So it's not like Torino and Juventus where, one's up here, the other one's fighting to stay in the top flight. These games normally mean top four, Scudetto. They've met in the Champions League in the semifinal in that year where Juventus lost to Milan on penalties. It was Milan-Inter in the semifinal. So these are games that have always meant something. And for the first time in 10 years, this game means possible Scudetto. It hasn't been like that for the longest time. Milan and Inter couldn't get into the top four for much of the 2010s. So this is, to me, the biggest derby that we've had in ages.
To the point about the friendliness, the Ultras made a pact back when, saying, listen, it's the way that we're going to fight this out is not, before the match or after the match with our fists. What we're going to do is we're going to sing louder. We're going to have the biggest score, the tifo. That's the way that they try to do it. And a lot comes down to, and I'll even give an example. My family that's from Piacenza, which is close to Milan, they're split. There's an uncle and a son. that's Milan, and then the other side will be Inter in the same family. So listen, you fight for 90 minutes, and of course the bragging rights for the rest of the week are very important. But then it pretty much is, and it ends with the banter, which I think that's how it should be in football.
Especially on social media, like the memes and all that stuff that gets shared around Milan groups and Inter groups. It's I mean, you'll see even at the end of comments, they'll sign off with like, telling you what the colors are. You put a red and black bubble, a blue and black bubble, and that's kind of part of the signature for a lot of these comments that you see on social.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And of course, there's even more of an emphasis because they share a stadium, and I think which makes that even more interesting as well. All right, well, let's actually talk about this game itself. Obviously, you mentioned, Marco, the bragging rights, but when you look at Serie A table, Inter Milan leading with 53 points, AC Milan third, right in between is Napoli, but Bobo Vieri, you mentioned he's going to be part of our team here, but he did say something very interesting this week. If Inter Milan win, AC Milan are out of the Scudetto race. Marco, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that does make this game, there's a lot at stake for Milan. Of course, Inter they're seen as the favorites to win the Scudetto, but there still is a hope and there still is a chance, because if Milan would win, even if Inter have a game in hand, they would temporarily at least go 1 point of top flight of top, first place. So that's what's on the line for them. And I think they believe the thing that strikes me about Milan is they are one of the most united teams. The team is a family. They're a squad. They've been hit with so many different injuries and cases, and they've stuck together and they've tried to keep that unity. So I think that within the squad, they feel there's something special besides just getting into a top 4 place, which coming into the season, I think that all Milan fans would say, yes, our goal is to make sure we remain in the top 4 and play Champions League again. But there is this sliver of hope, and that Milan is not going to go down without a fight.
I'll be honest, Marco, I think that even if Milan win, over the course of the season, Inter have been a different gear. They win games at the final moment. They haven't suffered as much injuries as the other team. Like, look at even tomorrow, Inter are nearly full strength, or even, you could say, full strength. And the players missing for Milan, their best defenders, Tomori and Kjaer, aren't playing. Kessie and Benacer just got back from the Africa Cup of Nations. Ibrahimovic isn't playing. It's going to be Giroud leading the line. They've had so many injuries across the board. And for a team that is, other than Ibrahimovic, a very young team, Stefano Pioli, I know from behind the scenes, the players love him. They love playing for him. And they got lucky that the first year they played under Pioli, Luis, is when there was no fans in the stadium. Pioli actually said, that helped my boys. That helped them grow. Because if these young players are coming in and you get scared to play in front of 70,000 San Siro, maybe you never show your full potential. Maybe you don't play with that looseness that they showed when there was the COVID lockdowns and there was no one in the stadium. So in a weird way, that actually helped this team become what it is now. And they have the perfect mix. They've got the veterans on the team. Ibrahimovic has changed from being someone that I think a lot of players were terrified of as a teammate to taking on this leadership role, and even talking about how he really likes that now, that he's the guy suddenly at 40, that the youngster, he could be the dad of like half the players on the team. And he's really taken on board this new role of being the mentor, of being the leader, because he said it earlier in his career, he was a different guy behind the scenes than he is now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely the transition from Ibrahimovic of Manchester United, obviously going to MLS, now coming here is kind of like a perfect timing for him. But having said that, as both of you have mentioned, and we mentioned in our weekend preview, everything, at least on paper, emphatically on paper, is pointing to Inter Milan. Thank you so much for the comment. So I'm going to throw something out here. If you're watching, just write in. Who do you think is winning this, Inter or AC Milan? Hyped for tomorrow. Kudos to the crew for making the derby feel special. Okay, so he's an Inter Milan fan. So I mean, listen, everything is pointing to that. And to your point, of course, the way that the Serie A standings are looking and the way that the rhythm of Inter Milan are playing seems interesting. By the way, after their stalemate against Juventus as well, AC Milan could fail to score in consecutive league matches for the first time since February of last year. So that's something to watch out for. Where are the goals going to come from? To your point about some absences, Ryan, AC Milan win. A Milan win would be a giant boost in the young guys' egos, given the horrid injuries. Love the vibes. All right. Well, listen, we've talked about some injuries and whatever. Let me throw something. If there's any way, Marco, for AC Milan to win this, where is it coming from? What are you looking at from Rossoneri perspective in order to get something here?
Of course, in Italy, still, being solid at the back is a very important thing. I think Leao has been a key player that has broken out for Milan. I mean, the guy's like a bolt. When he goes forward, you almost can't stop him, and you can't tame the guy. So if he has a great match and he's running at the defense of Inter, even though it is really good, I think that's where they hurt them. As well as, every time that I've seen Inter been under any sort of pressure, and I think back to the Supercoppa match, Inter Juventus, where for 25 minutes, Juventus were able to cause Inter some problems. It's when you press them. It's when you stop them from building out of the back, because they play one of the best styles of football in all of Europe. Inzaghi has them playing a memoria. It's like you know exactly where you need to be at every moment. But once they get into that groove, you can't steal the ball from them. But if you can stop them before they get there, I think that's how you're able to really hold them down. But that's a very tough task. You're asking, a group of Milan players that, maybe not all their starters are ready to press and to run and be concentrated for such a long time. Even look at the Venezia match. Until the final moment, Inter has so much quality that they're able to win the game at the death, even after missing sitters and missing so many chances. So, in my opinion, they need good individual performances from a player like Leao who could create magic, but also as a team and as a unit, they need to press together.
I'm worried about the back line, though. Kalulu's been good. He's filling in. Romagnoli's filling in. So Romagnoli struggles with pace. Kalulu's been good with his anticipation, but what he really struggles with is those battles in the air. He's only about 5'10", 5'11 max. And Edin Dzeko is supposed to lead the line at 6'4". Edin Dzeko is one of the best headers in Italy. That's a matchup that I would assume Romagnoli is going to try to pick up Dzeko. I hope that's what happens on the Milan side of things, because Dzeko against Kalulu is a huge mismatch in the air, especially with the way that Inter is so good at getting the ball out wide. The work that the wingbacks do, Dumfries on one side, Perisic, who isn't even really a wingback. Inter tactically, Luis, they have one of the most interesting systems, right? They play this 3-5-2 or so, they say, but one of the center backs, Bastoni, he's getting forward like a winger himself. So what that does is that they overload the box. They get Bastoni going forward. They get Perisic, who's on that side, cutting inside. So suddenly you've got this crazy numerical advantage inside the box where Inter flood the final third with like 6 or 7 players. And they have such a clear identity. And what surprised me the most is everything was the worst thing in the world from an Inter fan's perspective, right? It was the disastrous summer. They finally won the Scudetto after 10 years. They lose Hakimi. They lose Antonio Conte and their best player, Romelu Lukaku. It was like the sky had fallen down. Not only have they not missed a beat, they're probably a better team even. They picked up right where they left off in the second half of the season. Simone Inzaghi has made a seamless transition. I am so impressed with this team. I think they're the Scudetto favorites. I've said it for a few months now. I feel like when Inter hit their high note, there's no other team in Serie A that can do that as consistently. So I really think this is going to be an uphill battle for Milan, even if they were full strength, but especially now that they have some really, really key players out, Ibrahimovic, the 2 best center backs, and more.
Yeah,
Matteo,
thank you so much.
Calling 5'11 short. Calling 5'11 short, it felt like a shot at me, Matteo. We're not all as tall as you.
It should have absolutely felt like a shot at you.
Matteo made the Duomo look small.
Fun of me for my height all weekend. I can't fit under the bridges. The staircase is well for me.
How was it, by the way, on the plane?
In the 1200s, I would have been in a circus.
But you went business class all the way here. It was nice and comfy, wasn't it, Matteo Bonetti? And Matteo's a friend of mine, by the way. So we've hung out outside of work and stuff. I know how tall he is and stuff. But on the plane, you were fine, right, Matteo?
I was with the pilot. We strapped Marco with some Velcro on the wing.
I was just holding on for dear life.
You have to lie down in the alleyway.
You know what? It's the worst to take pictures with this guy Matteo, because everybody on social media just comments like, "Marco, how are you so short? You're tiny, this and that." But I'm like, no. It's Matteo is really tall. I think last time we were at San Siro, didn't Dre have to go on like a ladder or something?
They had to put him on a staircase. Yeah, because I'm 6'5".
Hey, you know what this is? This is Lautaro Martinez and Edin Dzeko. That's what I feel this is.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Lautaro.
Let me go back for a second about your point about Inzaghi, Matteo, and Marco jump in after that. And by the way, thank you so much for the comments. Everybody keep throwing them out there. What do you make of this game? Is there anybody out there that could maybe see an AC Milan win? But Matteo, about Simone Inzaghi, I mean, are you surprised by how, it's only February, but things are closing down. They are leading Serie A. Are you surprised by how well he has been able to take this Inter Milan? Because all the things that you just mentioned, Lukaku gone, Antonio Conte, etc. Are you surprised by this?
I'm massively surprised. I think there was a question when Inzaghi took over. He never really been at a club that has those ambitions. He was at a Lazio side that was maybe fighting for top four, normally fifth or sixth. Never had the budget of Inter. There was questions, is Inzaghi someone that can take the jump and take over a team that just won the Scudetto, that's still going to be one of the favorites? And not only do the players love playing with him, and maybe one of the criticisms, and certainly what we heard from some of the Lazio players, is Inzaghi only knows one way to play. He's not someone that's going to change his system for the players. He's someone that brings his system and he wants the players to adapt to what he wants to do. But I feel like this Inter side plays differently than Lazio did. I felt Lazio were a little bit more direct counterattacking. Inter can hurt you in so many ways. They can play vertical. They can play counterattack if you want. But it's a little bit of a more offensive side than what we saw last year on the Conte. They play an average higher line. They're trying to play with the ball a bit better. They have a different approach as well when they take a lead, where last year you'd see Conte's Inter, they take a lead, they could shut out shop and know that ball over the top to Lukaku. Lukaku was going to obliterate these provincial Italian defenders. They'd have no chance. So it was almost like a cheat code. But I am more than impressed and surprised by Simone Inzaghi, who right now to me would be the manager of the year for what he's done after such a terrible summer that Inter had, not missing a beat. He showed he's a big club manager, which I think was the last remaining question of him.
Yeah, but he still has the best team. I mean, if you look at the quality of players that Inter has, it's still of a very high level. And I think that's why you see them being different than the Lazio he had. Because the Lazio he had did not have the same quality. He's able to do a lot more. He's got more freedom. And that is what he brought. I do agree, though. That is what he brought to Inter. It's the freedom. He's got this idea of let the players play. And Conte, I mean, this guy Conte, if you're a few inches off of where he had you in training, he's gonna beat you up. He wants his players exactly where he wants them. And Inzaghi's just had them. I mean, still structure, of course, but once they get into that attacking third, they've got this like freedom to create and to put some magic in and to feel the match. So I think it's brought them a lot of success.
I think a massive reason for their success has been kind of an ingenious move, which is Edin Dzeko replacing Lukaku, somebody that is obviously not as powerful as Lukaku or maybe as imposing in many ways, but Edin Dzeko knows the league. He's so experienced, and his partnership with Lautaro Martinez, who, by the way, is now coming back after scoring 19 goals for Argentina under Lionel Scaloni, that's a perfect kind of match. So it's massive. All right. Okay. So let me ask you something, because we got to come back to this. Marco Messina, Matteo Bonetti, they're in Milano. I want to get the vibes, the feelings. I don't know if you've been talking to people, if you're going to restaurants, talking to a waiter, or maybe somebody, a passerby. What's the mood, Marco Messina? What are people feeling about this game?
You could feel the tension. You could feel the tension building in the air. I think every time we've been out, we've been seeing somebody. We ask them what team they're supporting, who they're going for, how they feel, if they're going to the stadium. And I think it's only going to grow until that point. These people, the people of Milan, they live with their heart on their sleeve, and they're going to go all out for this match. But you could feel it building. I know as we were walking, we've seen some Italian men with their Inter scarves going through the streets. So it's going to be a great one.
It's absolutely amazing to be in a place where, we cover Calcio in the States, and we've never, in 10 years that I've been covering Serie A as an analyst, this is only the third time I've actually come to Italy to do a game from the stadium. So it's such a breath of fresh air to be in the place that's hosting it, where that's all everyone's talking about. There's no other sports competing. It's not the NFL, the NBA, the Peruvian national team. You're not seeing all these ultra fans of other sports, other leagues. It's not Premier League. It is all about Milan and Inter. That's the focus. Everyone's got an opinion. You can feel there's a certain buzz. We were touring. We went to Appiano, then we went to Casa Milan. We toured Casa Milan. We go outside. There's two people that I'm like, those are Inter ultras, because they're giving us a very dirty look. Like, I didn't know if someone was about to go down or what was happening. Marco started putting them up like this, and so you feel. I was
going to use you as a shield.
I don't know about you, Marco, but when I'm walking around the streets of Connecticut, I'm not getting attacked by Juventini or Interisti or Milanisti or Romanisti or Laziali. What about you?
You only got the Bears that's going to attack you in Connecticut, Matteo. You got to worry out.
That or angry white white moms. That's what I'm scared of as well. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Whoa.
Hey, this is hoodie and t-shirts, Qué Golazo, baby. This isn't nothing of your formal stuff. Hey, by the way, how's Poppy Miller's Italian doing these days? My very good friend Poppy
it's
Miller.
really struggling. She said espresso today. Asked for a cappuccino. Poppy's had a bit of a mare today, to be honest, on the streets. The cappuccino is not, and we try to warn her. We're like, Poppy, after 12, you've got to transition to the espresso. But she wanted something frothy and milky and full of sugar. So she and she was drinking it while she was eating her pasta, which is another cardinal sin.
You're calling her out.
Have your cappuccino like kind of like you drink a cup of water. You're throwing it down in between bites of tagliatelle. It was, I mean,
be patient with her, Matteo. She's a lass from Nottingham. You know, she probably would have gone to Starbucks the first place.
We could tell.
I think that's where she wants to go tomorrow. We walked past it. She's like, "Oh, how far is this from our hotel?" I was like, "It's pretty close." I was like, "You can't go to Starbucks."
She asked the owner of this restaurant, "Do you guys do caramel macchiatos?" And he looked at me and he said, "You guys have to leave right now. We got thrown out right away."
But I will say, what I'll say, I got to stick up for Poppy. There's nobody who's trying more. I think she's tried to speak Italian more than Grella has spoken Italian.
Well, she speaks it better than Marco after one day.
Oh,
after just saying all that about her.
Cheese on fish, says Ryan.
No.
Hey, how's Mike doing, by the way? Mike Grella, who we still need to have on this show. How's he having? Is he having a good time there?
Mike is cool. Mike, he doesn't. Nothing flusters him. The guy's been around. He's seen a lot of things. Like Mike's always just suave. He's cool. We're all a bit of clowns, and he brings us back down to reality. Mike he's a must on a trip like this. You know, who you see on air is who he is behind the scenes. He's just Mike. He's real.
It's kind of the same with your commentating partner, the play-by-play legend Dre Cordero as well. How's he doing, Matteo? And Marco, jump in. I think, anything about him?
I don't think we've seen him today. I think he's studying.
He's working on his stickers. You know, the thing about Dre is he makes a sticker with the face of the player, all the information you could think of, anything, what he eats in the morning, how many times he shaves, everything is on that damn sticker. So he's printing them out. It takes him all day to do it. So Dre is 100% locked in his room. He doesn't want to deal with any of our nonsense about cappuccini and Italian and scarves. He is working. He's working.
Yeah, I totally would have copied his homework in school if that would have happened. All right, we're nearly wrapping this up, but I did want to come back to the game and focus on, I guess, not just the game, but looking ahead. If you're looking right now, I mean, at the very beginning of this, Matteo Bonetti, you said, Inter Milan for a few months now, you've been saying they're going to win Scudetto. Is there anything through this journey between now and the end of the season that you think, you know what, they might not do it? Who can stop them? I mean, we've seen Marcos Juventus get Dusan Vlahovic. They're looking a little bit strong. Napoli, of course, you can never count them out. Is there anything that you could say that could maybe be a blip to Inter Milan?
If we see Napoli from the first 2 months of the season when they were flirting with the top of the league and we saw how good they could be under Luciano Spalletti, yes, but they've been decimated by injuries too. They've missed their best defender, the best striker for months. They've dropped off. Milan can challenge, but Luis, unless Inter have like a shocking run of injuries where they're missing their best defenders, midfielders, strikers, but they're so interchangeable. If they don't play Dzeko or Lautaro, then Correa jumps in, Alexis Sanchez jumps in, Alexis Sanchez really well. Caicedo's been brought in as like a vice Edin Dzeko. They can roll with the punches. They've got depth. They can throw in players, and you wouldn't even think they missed a beat. Honestly, Luis, I just don't see a scenario in which any other team wins but Inter. I'd be surprised if anyone else wins but them. I think they're the clear
Caicedo is an absolute fantastic purchase there in that one.
He's good, and he was a super sub under Inzaghi. Inzaghi knows exactly what he's getting. He coached them at Lazio for a long time. Caicedo was actually a very effective player with Lazio under Inzaghi in relief of Immobile, and sometimes even partnering Immobile. So we might even see him get the rare start.
Yeah, I think that the only thing is Inter have been amazing, and it's absolutely credit to the quality of their team and their coach. But you feel like eventually every team has to go through like a run of form where they slip up. And that's the only thing. I think that it's in Inter's hands. If they continue on this path of what they're doing, then yes, they're going to win the Scudetto. But, in the back of my mind, I try to think about it and I say, you always have to go through some sort of rough patch of games that you're not going to win matches. We thought we almost saw it against Venezia. We thought we almost saw it against Empoli. We thought we almost saw it against Juventus. and then they pulled away with it. So they're really good at that. Let's see if that continues.
Yeah, and the only issue with that is if Inter do go in a bad form, the other hope is that the other teams take advantage of it, because that has to be a simultaneous situation. Of course, we mentioned Napoli. Chucky Lozano is going to be out for more than a month, probably 2. That's going to be an issue for them. Of course, AC Milan, Atalanta. And very quick, Marco, Dusan Vlahovic, Juventus. How good is that, huh? Is Juve back?
Listen, I don't know if Juventus is back, because I think back means, being really in the Scudetto race. I think if we did get those, back, if Milan would win tomorrow and then you got an Inter that would slip up, I think the race would go, Juventus would be like 7 or 8 points behind. And then that will get very interesting. But I think he fixes the problem of scoring goals. Of course, Juventus, they've struggled to create opportunities. But when they did create those opportunities, Morata is just not a killer. He's not that type of, he's not even a real number 9. Most of the time, he likes to drift out wide and send crosses in, and he does a really good job working on that end. But now Juventus have I'm not going to say world class yet. They have an extremely talented number 9 that he can score goals. He scored 17. He's top of the Capocannoniere race with Ciro Immobile, and it feels like a long time, probably since Juventus had Gonzalo Higuain, that they had a real striker. Of course, Ronaldo did score those goals, but they never had that guy.
To Morata's defense, though, his productivity out wide has been as a default result. He's not actually naturally this kind of wide player. He is a 9. It's just that you got to go back a little bit.
The problem with Morata is now, how many big teams have had him? And he keeps leaving. He doesn't score more than 10, 12 goals a year. He's fine. I think he has his uses, but he's the opposite of Ronaldo, right? Ronaldo didn't do anything for a whole game, and then he scored. Morata does everything for a game, but never scores. It's a big problem. You can't have a team that
Vlahovic is a killer. Vlahovic will take it.
Marco's, I think, underplaying it a little bit. I think Juventus solved 2 huge issues. They finally have the right partner for Locatelli in the midfield, especially if Allegri goes to the double pivot. Zakaria, who can do all the dirty work. And my friends who cover Bundesliga full-time tell me this kid can be world-class if he wants to. He's had some bad luck with injuries, but this is a huge signing for Juventus. Makes Locatelli better in the process. And having a 20, 25-goal season striker, oh, by the way, Vlahovic on pace to score more than 30, which only 4 players have done since 1959 in Serie A. That masks a lot of weaknesses. Marco, Juventus.
Do they get Champions League?
They gotta do it.
Marco, do they get Champions League? Do they get Champions League?
I had them. I had them getting Champions League before Vlahovic and before Zakaria.
Well, of course you did.
No, but I'm honest. That's how I felt. The thing is, I'm not disagreeing. He said, "Are Juventus back?" For me, Juventus back means in the Scudetto race. Are they in the Scudetto race now, Matteo? I don't think so.
I don't think Scudetto race. I think we need to get them in the top 4 first. I think they finish top 4. I think it'll be Napoli or Atalanta dropping out of the top 4. If I'm honest, I wouldn't be surprised with either. Could even be.
That I agree.
Still a very long season, but Marco, 2 biggest problems have been solved, and then you got this kid, Luis. Don't do it. Don't forget about the best story in all of Calcio right now. This young defender that they just signed. What's his name again, Marco? Help me out.
It's Gatti. Cats.
Gatti from Frosinone. Let me tell you the story in 2 seconds, Luis. I don't care.
Tell it. I want to hear it. Let's hear it.
Last 6 seasons, 6th division, 5th division, 4, 3, 2, Juventus. That's his progression. He was a bricklayer. This guy has an amazing story. Forget your Jamie Vardy. This guy did 6 divisions in 6 seasons. He just played his first season in Serie B this year. So good in half a campaign. Looks like the Virgil van Dijk. You go look at his videos, like, who the hell is this guy? It's like Virgil van Dijk. He's amazing. Juventus signs him. This kid, but I've never seen a trajectory like it. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Unbelievable.
I love it. He's the Marco Messina of football, just an absolute hustler from the grounds of Brooklyn all the way up.
Can I say something? You guys all know Marco, big, English, pumps out that English content. IFTV. Marco's gotten recognized. The only person he's gotten recognized already 2 or 3 times. There's an Italian kid saying to Marco, I am learning English and I watch your content to help with my English. So Marco's made it in Italy. Dude's worldwide.
I love it. Well done, Marco Messina. So proud of you. And Matteo Bonetti, obviously, so proud of you. Poppy Miller, Mike Grella, Bobo Vieri, Drake Cordero. It's going to be quite an exciting derby della Madonnina. Look at this team. I can't wait. That, by the way, it begins 11 a.m. Eastern, kickoff at noon. And, of course, we have post-match coverage from the San Siro, Paramount Plus, Calcio Cappuccino, CBS Sports. I'm LME, Marco Messina, Matteo Bonetti. Thank you so much for being part of it. Marco, thank you so much. Grazie, Marco. Thank you.
Oh, thank you to you, man. I appreciate all this content that you're putting out. I hope the people are enjoying Serie A. It's such an exciting league. I'm honored and blessed to be covering it.
Matteo, my buddy, my friend, thank you so much. Happy birthday to your little boy as well. Have a fantastic, fantastic time there in Milan, my friend.
Thanks so much, Luis. And just really quickly for you people stateside that are big Calcio fans, Serie A wants to grow stateside. They're making big moves to get the word out, to do more fan events. Like Serie A right now is on a rocket, like your crypto, rocket to the moon. That's
Jump
Serie A.
on board.
Like
Now's the time.
It's Dogecoin. Serie A's Dogecoin. Buy into Serie A.
It's growing,
moon,
baby. You know,
you're riding with us, Luis.
I just need one thing. Somebody buy Gianluca Lapadula to Serie A. And then I'll be very happy.
Hey, Gianluca Lapadula is like Gatti, by the way.
I know. We know. Trust me, I know this story.
I know, because Milan bought him. Milan gave him the career that he had. By the way, they plucked him out from Pescara. They said, "Here you go. You get a chance to be in Serie A." I love him. Milan fans loved him. He deserves to be in Serie A. I'm right there with you, Luis.
Absolutely. And thank you so much to Matteo Bonetti, Marco Messina, the entire Calcio Cappuccino crew. Make sure to tune in San Siro tomorrow, Paramount Plus, the Milan Derby, live from the stadium. Fellas, have a great rest of your day. Everybody, thank you so much. Qué Golazo Pod on Twitter, YouTube, of course, .com. Help us get to, we're nearly there to 10,000 subscribers. We're also on audio, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, CBS Sports, and your CBS Sports app. Grazie a tutti. Arrivederci. We will see you next time. Till then.